Hi everyone, welcome back to Brook Valley Life, or hello for the first time. Today, a real basic look at what we throw from our bow. Talking about arrows. Why there's so many different types, what they're made from, different sizes, and what we use them for. So, this should be a short video, so stay with me, let's go and have a look at some arrows. So, arrows. What are we talking about? Well, all an arrow really is a long, thin piece of material that has got a slot one end that will fit onto a string and a point on the other end. So when it is thrown from a bow, be that compound, recurve, traditional, you name it, longbow, it will fly in a straight-ish line, I'll say straight-ish, and it will hit a target and stick into it. So where do we start? Well, I don't have them here actually, but the best place to start is with the most natural and be one of the first types of arrow that was out there, and that's a wooden arrow. And what people had to do back in the day, and we're talking maybe thousands of years ago, when they first got the bow and arrow, was they needed a long, thin piece of wood at the time. They would first of all, instead of having something sharp like this on the front, they would sharpen the front of the piece of wood, maybe put it in a fire to harden it and shoot it at an animal or at another person if it was war, stuff like that. And it was there to kill them or kill the animal so they could eat. So, wooden arrows. Can you still get wooden arrows nowadays? Oh, of course you can. There are some traditionalists out there, people who shoot longbow, trad archery, and all they do is shoot traditional stuff, so shooting wooden arrows, and you can still get them. Now then, I think possibly back in the 70s, maybe even before that, people decided that they wanted a different and a stronger type of arrow. And in comes these. These are aluminium, or for our American friends, aluminum. And if you look how it's spelled, I think the Americans may be saying it correctly. It is just a long, thin tube made from aluminium, lightweight but strong. They can bend. They are designed to bend a little bit, as you can see there. But if you don't take care of them, they can bend and then they won't fly straight from your bow. Then we've got a newer form of material that we can use, and that's this. This is pure carbon, and it's just a carbon tube with some bits added on. We'll have a look at those in a minute. Why is this good? It's very lightweight and it's very strong. Lots of people use these now for hunting, target archery, you name it. And then, of course, we can combine both of these together and you can get your carbon aluminium arrows. One, carbon on the outside, aluminium in the center. This is an ACC you can get from Eastern. And this one is an Axis, which is carbon on the inside and aluminium on the outside. Yeah, so if you lose them, easy to find. They're allegedly slightly straighter, stronger. I'm not that keen on the composite one. Well, I say composite, the mixture of both, because I've had X10 arrows hit the end of them and the carbon started to come away from the aluminium. So that's why I've gone to pure carbon. So they're the different types of material that you're going to find. Wood, aluminium, carbon, or a mixture of carbon and aluminium. And as you can see with these arrows just in front of us, they're all different sizes. Some are fatter, some are thinner. Why is that? Us people who've been shooting for a while, they know why they're different sizes. If you're a target archer, shooting say 70 meters with a recurve, You want an arrow that will fly very fast, very straight, and have very little wind resistance. So you're not going to want to shoot a big fat aluminium arrow that's quite heavy, lots of surface area for the wind to affect it. You're going to want to shoot something that is extremely thin, extremely light, and will have very little wind resistance, and also be affected by the wind in a minor way. You can get those other arrows which are somewhere in between. So what we have here, this is a 3.2 internal diameter, which is virtually the smallest arrow you can get, thinnest I should say, not smallest. And then you move up one to a 0.166 or 4.2 millimeter arrow. This is a Victory VAP, a very good arrow. There are some other brands out there. Then you get a 0.245. I think that's a 5.4 millimeter, and then it goes up to 6.2 millimeter, and other different sizes. You'll find that the fatter arrows are usually used at shorter distances, so indoors or even on 3D, where hitting a line is quite a big thing, whereas longer distances you're going to go for a lighter, thinner arrow. That's where the carbon comes in. Also, you could have a 3.2 millimeter internal diameter arrow. However, the external diameter may be slightly different because the arrows are stronger and they bend less. And that all comes down to how much draw weight you have on your bow. The more draw weight, the thicker the arrow needs to be to stop it from bending so much. That's going into things like spine and all those type of things, and we'll look at that on a different video. This is just the basics on the arrows themselves. The other things that we're going to use arrows for, we've said about target shooting. Field is a bit like target shooting. Then you get 3D, which is target shooting at actual foam animals. Hunting is another one. You want a really strong arrow that will fly extremely fast, take a lot of kinetic energy with it, potential energy with it, so when it hits the animal it will put out a lot of energy into that animal and kill the animal quickly. What else? Clout archery, if you've ever come across it, is where you shoot at a long distance, and for me as a male recurver, I used to shoot 165 meters, I think it was, and you shoot up in the air and you have to land within a circle on the ground. I'll put some pictures of people doing it and you can see what I mean. What you want there is a arrow that will get the distance but will come in at quite a steep angle. That's what I was always told when I used to do it. So having a fatter arrow with a bit of drag on the back, maybe a heavy point as well, because we haven't even talked about the pins and the points, and we'll look at that again in a different video. But with all these videos, with all these arrows, you're looking at them and you're seeing all these different ones. What are the main differences? Well, a lot of the time it's going to come down to cost and how much it is, or how much it takes to make these arrows. Wooden arrows, you'd be surprised, they can be quite expensive because you've got to get the wood, it's got to be shaped properly, you've got to have the right machines to make the arrows. However, wooden arrows can be affected a lot by humidity, heat, cold, and they can bend. So you may produce, say, 100 arrows and you can only use, say, 75 of them because 25% of them are bent or warped due to atmospheric conditions. Aluminium, pretty cheap usually, or they can be. Aluminium is extruded and put into these tubes. They're cut and come in different sizes, spines. Pretty simple. Carbon used to be extremely expensive. Nowadays, carbon is getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. I've managed to get myself a set of these 3.2mm arrows. These are straight as well, and I'm paying about $50 US for a full set of 12. That is just unheard of when they first came out. However, there are different costs when it comes to carbon arrows as well. I'll go back to Easton. I'm not banging on Easton because they use carbon and aluminium, but a set of X10s here in New Zealand is well over $1,000, where I can pick up same thickness. It's not barreled as the X10s, and barreled, I mean, it's fatter in the center than it is at the ends. As I've said, under $100 Kiwi and under $50 US for a full set of 12 arrows that are straight, and the straightnesses will affect the price. So Victory, American brand, this is the VAP, the 0.166 or 4.2mm diameter, internal diameter. They come in 3 different straightnesses. Cheapest one is the one that's supposedly not as straight as the others, and then it goes up in price. But I've shot all 3 types and I've not found a difference between them. So there's one to think about. So cost of these arrows will vary greatly. You need to find some that you will like, you can shoot with. I quite like the Skylon or the Pandaris at the moment. They're very, very good arrows, very straight, very cheap, and you can get points and pins for them extremely well. So as you can see, I've got a number of arrows here. What I used to use was all the big brand names. I used to just shoot Easton, tell you the truth. Had a set of ACEs. I've had some aluminium ones from them. I had a set of ACGs. And then I had a set of X10s. I could never get my X10s to tune properly. I changed to the ACGs. They were fine. But lately I've moved on. I first started with the Victory VAPs, and then I started looking at some Chinese brands. And the Skylon, yeah, I can't go past them anymore. I've got a set of Paragons, which are the more expensive 3.2mm, and I've got a set of Performers. And they were about $100, if not less, for a full set of 12. And then Nika, or Elon, let's get that the right way around, sent me these to test. They make these for a number of different people. These are there's nothing on them. These are a prototype set, and they are 3.2mm, 700 spine, and they shoot perfectly. Love them. But you have to get them through other companies. You can find them on AliExpress, and they're allegedly 0.003 straightness, but I can't find any difference. They all fly straight for me. So this is just a quick look at all the different types of arrows that are out there, what they're made from, why they're different sizes, what we use them for, and what I use. So if you've liked this quick look at arrows, this beginning look of arrows, please hit the like, subscribe, share it, press that bell notification and all the other things you do on YouTube. I will come out with another video on why we choose a certain arrow for your bow setup, the different types of pins, the different size of points, and then of course you've got the fletchings on the back end and why we have them there in the first place. So if you like it, do all as I said about the YouTube stuff, keep shooting, keep enjoying life, and I will catch you next time. Bye bye.